So good morning and welcome to all of you in India. While we have thank you Nimal Kumar Rai. So I'm quickly going to say hello to everyone. Chandan, Adil Rafiq, Abhishek, Aditi, Amit Sarkar, Bhargavi Sweetie, Bhavna Tiwari, Chakresh Kumar, Devashi Swain, Deepa, Dinesh, Divanshu, Gauri Shankar, Imran Sheikh. I recognize a lot of names. I'm so happy to see you here. Jatin Nair, of course, our lead volunteer and part of our leadership group. Vishal Dongre is in the house. Karishma Nigam, Jiva Suresh, Ketan Pratap Singh, Likhita Areti, Madhushri Mazi, Mayank Prajapati, Mayur Vasita, of course, Muskan, the wonderful instructor we've got, Nikhil, Nikhil Upal, Nirmal Kumar Rai, whom we had a lot of fun conversation with just in other sessions. Pragati Nazare, Pranav Gulakse, and wait a minute, Aishwarya, Samudra Kamath, who did I miss? Rishabh, Rupashri, Sanchit Bansal, Sarang Pawar, Shashwat Ghosh. Shashwat Ghosh, the one with the Eiffel Tower in his background, and that Eiffel Tower is in Calcutta. Shubham Pandey, Seemar Huda, Shiva Reddy, Sonam Pandey, Sudarshan, Taufik Tuhil, my great CA friend from Mumbai. Uh, Tushar, Vishal, Ghungre, Yogesh Bhosle. So I guess I'm so happy to see you all. Good morning and welcome. And today's session is Introduction to Machine Language. It'll be a practical session. I will let Muskan Handa perform her magic as always. She's very, very magical. I think that she does not teach anything, she performs magic. That's what my belief is. So, with any further delay, I would hand it over to Muskan Handa.
Thank you, Arun, for such a wonderful introduction. Hello, everyone. Myself, Muskan. I already had a session with you guys who were there, and we learned SQL that time, and we used Kaggle. So today also we'll be doing Kaggle course, by the way. So if you are doing it with me, in the end, we'll be getting a certificate from Kaggle only, and that you can put on your profile, in your portfolio, in your resume. It's up to you where you want to put it. So what I'll try to do is I'll try to take you give a small introduction to what is machine learning, how it works, and we will be making a model today. And that will be a simpler model. Of course, we cannot go into very deep with the first session. A very simple model. So I'll be giving you the theory and I'll be helping you with the code. And at the same time, I want you to code with me. If you are comfortable, please have a pen and a notebook with you so you can write some stuff. Even if you don't understand the things that I'm teaching right now, then you can maybe look into it afterwards, look into the terms that I'll be talking about so that you can understand and get the hang of machine learning. Okay? So if we are ready, can we start the session? Do you have your pen and notebooks? If you don't have it, can you just please bring it? Okay. So if give me one more minute. If you don't have the things available, can you just please bring it? And at the same moment, I'll just send a link so that you can open the course that we'll be trying to do today. I'll be sharing my screen with you, but before that, please make sure that you are able to open this link. If you are able, then please send yes so that I can understand that we are ready.
We have a yes from Shashwat Ghosh and Imran. That makes me feel that people are ready. And I believe that people are ready with their laptops, tea, coffee, whatever their poison is. And all right, cool.
Okay. So what I'll be doing today is I'll be first explaining what we're trying to do. Okay. Then we'll go back to the link and then we'll perform the task. So I'll be using my OneNote for the theoretical purpose I'll be drawing diagrams there. I'll be trying to make you understand the basics that we have. So please bear with me when we switch the things up. So right now, what we need here is just a small introduction, and I'll tell you what machine learning is. But let me open my one tab. No, I'll share my screen with you guys. 1 second. Yes. Okay. So hi. I hope that you're able to see my screen. Guys, are we able to see? Yes. Good. Uh, that's great. Like Kita, if you're able to complete 67% of the course, I guess you started before me. Uh, so the course that I have sent is the link that I've sent is the course only. That is the certificate that we are going to get today. Okay. So some people have raised their hand. Yes, cannot see. Sorry. Uh, do you have any issue? If you have,
Sorry, Muskan. I think there's some confusion about the certificate. What certificate are you talking about again?
1 second, I'll share my screen again. So what
Sure.
we are going to do
It's
today
the
For
is,
CIP.
attending the session today, you mean?
no, we are trying to complete a course from Kaggle in like within 1.5 to 2 hours. It's basically intro to machine learning only. I won't be taking you through the entire theory session. I'll be giving you the practical exercises with me. If you complete
Understood.
it,
So basically, Likita has already corrected me that Kaggle will provides a certification. I do understand now. I was a little bit. I went off track a little bit. So let's continue. Thank you.
okay. So, I want you guys to open your link first and go to the first session. That is the first course. That is how models work. So, we'll be covering the theory of this today, but I'll be teaching it in my own way. So, you can like start the tutorial, but at the same time, there's no uh, like practical session in this first one. So, it's just basically what is machine learning, what is decision tree. So we'll be starting with it. Okay, guys. So if we are studying something, the first thing that you should understand is what we are studying. So we are studying machine learning, or people call it ML in short. It's basically if we are trying to get the machine to act without any human assistance or intervention. Like for example, if you are calculating something, you need tell the machine, okay, that this is the number, this is what the operation that you need to do. So we need the machine to act without any human assistance or intervention. We are making our machines to act like humans, to take the decisions on our behalf, to help us with some decisions. Okay, so we are making the machine to act like humans. Science of getting machine to act without any human assistance or intervention. Okay, so what we are trying to do today here is, if you open the link, we have the introduction, and we are going to start with the decision tree. So I'll tell you what a decision tree is with a simple example here. If you understand what a family tree is, it's very easy to understand what a decision tree is. So when you start with a family tree, it's basically like this. Then you go to different generation, then different generation. You have a tree like this. In the same way, we have a decision tree. For example, in decision tree, we are basically trying to understand if a person is able to get a loan or not. So we have a diagram for the same. Bear with me for a while. I'll open the discussion for doubts if you have. Just give me 5 more minutes till I explain the theory. Okay. So, for example, we have to approve that a person should be able to get a loan or not. So the first criteria is person above 25. Like this is the criteria set by the bank, not by me. Okay. Is the person above 25 years of age? If yes, if no. Now there are two options. Okay. Is the person above 25 year of age? Okay. The person is above, then we go to this one, this block. If the person is not, then we go here. Okay. Now, if the person is not, then we are checking is the salary of the person above, let's say, 2 lakhs. Salary above 2 lakhs, then yes and no. We have a question here and we are answering it in the yes or no form. The salary of the person is above 2 lakhs. Then we come to this block. I'll write the answer here. Then we come to this block if it's not. Okay. If the salary is above 2 lakhs, we are giving the person loan. Give loan. If it's not, then we are saying don't give loan. Okay. So this is one decision tree that we have made. Only one side I have made. Okay. Now I'm checking is person of 25? Yes. Now I'm checking if the person is married and has one child. If the person is married and has one child, then yes, give loan. If the person is not married and does not have any child, then don't give loan. So we have made a small, like we have made a decision with the help of these things. We are checking these parameters and we are checking the answers for that yes, no. And then we are deciding, okay, if these things are true, if how can a person get a loan if these things are true? This is the line. How can a person get a loan if these things are true? And if these things are not true, don't give loan. We have that option. Okay. This is a very simple decision tree. So we have to approve a loan on the basis of age that we have. We are checking about the age. Then we are checking about the salary. Then we are checking about if the person is married or not and how many children they have. So we are asking a conditional question at each node. These are called nodes. We are asking a conditional question. Conditional question basically have answer in yes or no form. And we are making the splits accordingly. For example, here these are the splits, yes and no. Okay. Till we reach a decision at the leaf node. The last nodes are the leaf nodes. Okay. These are leaf nodes, the last ones. Okay. That is our like final decision. Give loan or don't give loan. Okay. So this is a simple decision tree. You can have like this is one example that I gave. You can have multiple examples for the same. So now coming to the point, this I made you understand what is a decision tree. Now coming to the point, why we use decision tree. Okay. So once again, I want to make you familiar with the terminologies. This is the root node, the first one. These are the other types of nodes, and these things at the last. These things at the last are our leaf nodes. Okay. Now coming to why use decision tree. So we have very few advantages here. I cannot say few, sorry. We have some advantages here that we can actually say that is the reason that you should use decision trees. Okay, so if you checked here, it is basically a series of if-else statements. Like if-else you are using and you are checking if the thing is true, then do this. If the thing is not true, then do that. Okay, so it is an if-else statements for series, and it because of this, it is very easily we can say easily interpretable. Like for example, if somebody doesn't know about ML, for example, your boss has given you a task and he doesn't know about ML, then it's very easy to explain it to him. It can be explained by a series of if and else. Like, is the person about 25? Yes. Is he married or has a child? Yes. Okay, then give him a loan. Is the person about 25? No. Is his salary above 2 lakhs? No, then don't give him loan. So it's very easy to understand this. Okay. Second, the time that we require to make the predictions here, the time required is very less. Okay. So we're basically checking some conditions. We have some conditions. If we have true or false in the answer, we are checking these conditions and we are getting the answer according to that. Okay. And now coming to few disadvantages. Okay. So when you change data a little, like small change, a very minor change can affect the results. So we can say that minor change can affect the results. That means that the tree is unstable in that form. Okay. Now we'll be making a decision tree. If you can open the link, we'll be trying to make a decision tree. I'll share my screen again with you guys. Uh, share. Yeah. So please open the first lecture that we have. So we'll be starting with the machine learning. And if you can see here is they have made a small sample decision tree. And I have already told you how that works. So what they're trying to do here is they're trying to check the predicted price of the house. Like they're selling something and they are trying to predict the price of the house. So here they have used just one root node and two leaf nodes. For example, does house have more than two bedrooms? If no, then they have predicted that the price should be around $1,78,000. And if it has more than two bedrooms, then this is the price that we have. So we have divided the house. We have taken the answer on the basis of one category only. That is basically if the house is having more than one bedroom. Okay. So we'll be now they have chosen one more thing. They have done one more thing, that is they have included one more condition. If you see in this diagram, they have seen that the lot size is greater than 8,500 square feet or not. And if it's larger than 11,500 square feet or not. So they have made a decision tree that is a little deeper and has more splits. Okay. So now they have made this. This is how the decision tree works. You can go through the theory by yourself and try to do it by yourself. What they have taught you here, I have covered already, and what I have taught on OneNote. Okay. So if you are getting more levels in decision tree, it is basically making the tree more deeper. Okay. And the last nodes that we have are called as leaf nodes. Okay. So we are trying to make a model. We are trying to train the model. We are trying to fit the model. I'll explain you the terms as we start with the code, and we are trying to do the same thing. Okay. Once you are done with this, you can go to continue. You have this time to examine your data. You can just click on this, and it will open another tab. Okay. So here we have basic data exploration. It will give you some theory here. It will take some time. Okay, so I'll come once more to my one tab. So here we'll be using pandas. So pandas is something that people with data analyst skills may know already about. It's not related to just ML. It is also related to data analysis. So coming to pandas, we also covered pandas last time in our SQL session. Just a little overview. So you need pandas for basic data exploration. You call it BDA. Okay. BDE, basic data exploration. Okay. So for the first thing that you need to do is you need to import the pandas. You need to import the library that you have and give it an alias. Alias is basically giving it a nickname. For example, if your name is Akash, some people may call you Akku. So that's basically giving it a nickname only. So you're giving it an alias. This is your alias. So This is because you don't need to write pandas again and again. Instead of writing pandas dot something dot anything, you just need to write pd dot something. Okay. So we are giving a small alias here. And what we'll be doing with pandas is we'll be reading the file that we have, and we'll be trying to go through the columns that we have in our file, and we will try to find some missing data if we have, and that is something that we can do with the help of pandas. Okay. uh, Now let me just give you a small overview of pandas. So if you want to read any CSV file in pandas, you can use PD, that is short for pandas, and you can use read CSV. If you were present in my last session, we did this thing. We did read CSV already, and we had the path of our file here in the single quotes. Okay, so pandas is basically an open source Python package that provides very, you can say, high number of tools for data analysis and exploratory data analysis. And you can manipulate some data. You can check if you have some kind of null values, and if you have some kind of you can basically check a lot of things with data. And for understanding pandas, if you do have time, take out some time to read about what is pandas series versus pandas data frame. This is something that both people with data analysis background and machine learning background should understand. I'll give you a short introduction of it. Panda series is basically a one dimension array. Okay. For example, if I just write pd dot series and I write this code 10, 20, 30. This I'm storing in a variable a, and then I print out a. So you will get this as the output 10, 20, 30, and this is your index 0, 1, 2. This is not something that you wrote, this is the index. These are values that you wrote. Okay. Panda series have default indexing. This is the default indexing that it is using, and these are the values that you wrote. So Panda series is basically a one-dimensional array. Okay. Now coming to data frame. Uh, You can also change this indexing, but we'll not be using it here. But we'll be trying to understand what is data frame.
Muskan, we can only see the Kaggle screen right now,
Okay,
uh,
okay.
and we
Sorry.
are unable to see the right where you're writing stuff.
1 second. Sorry, sorry.
I think sometimes there's a video lag. It could be that.
Yeah. So I just made you understand about Panda series. So Panda series is basically a one-dimensional array that is capable of holding any data type you have. For example, we are using integers here. It can also store anything else like strings or characters. Now you have, if you have this, I'm writing a series of my own. So for making a series, you have to write p dot series. You have to specify that it is the series, and then in the square brackets, you have to write the values that you have and close it here with round brackets. So if you get the output, in the output, you will have this 0, 1, 2, 10, 20, 30. This is your default indexing done by pandas itself, and these are your values. Okay. You can also change the indexes. For example, if you want it to be XYZ, you can change it to XYZ. There's a way of doing that. Uh, and if you want to access some kind of data, for example, if I want to access the value of 20, you have to access it with the help of the index that you have. For example, A1 will give me the value of 20. Okay, these are the indexes. A0 will give you the value of 10. A2 will give you the value of 30. Okay. Uh, So pandas is a series basically a kind of one-dimensional array, and it can hold a variety of data types. Whereas you can say that it's kind of different from data frame in the sense that it is two-dimensional. Two-dimensional. It consists of both rows and columns. Okay. So each column that we have here is basically made up of series. Okay. So when I'll be writing code with you guys, I'll show you how we are making this. I'll again be sharing my Kaggle screen so that you can understand the concepts that I'll try to make you do. 1 second. Coming to basic data exploration again. So if you see that the first step they are doing is they are importing pandas, and then we have a CSV file that we'll be trying to get so that we can read the data that we have. So I'll make you understand. For getting any CSV file, what you need is period.read CSV function, and then you can just they have saved the file in this variable that is Melbourne file path. So period.read CSV, and this is the path that we are going to refer that is saved in this variable. So I'm just writing the name of the variable, and we'll use describe. Describe will help you with some of the things like standard deviation, count. Count means how many values you have. Mean is like the average of these values. Minimum value, then 25%, 50%, 75%, and max. I'll explain it when we are doing that. So we'll start with this. When you are like studying about data analysis or machine learning, this part does come in picture a lot because this is basically what you learn in statistics. A lot of people who might have taken PCM in their 11th or 12th might have understood this count, mean, and standard deviation already. So the first number that you see here is count. It shows how many values that you have basically, how many rows you have, and like if you have some missing values, you can find it here. But if you can see here, we have a lot of values here. So it's kind of difficult to find it, but we'll do it with the help of pandas. Then we have mean, that is the average of the values. For example, if this is rooms, then there may be an average number of rooms that is there. That is 2.9. That is approx 3 rooms in each house. Okay. Then we have standard deviation, which measures like how differently spread out your values are. Like where does the value stand first? These are few terms that I think that you guys should learn about. 25%, 50%, 75%. These, if you understand one of these terms, you will be able to understand the other two as well. 25% and basically it is called as 25 percentile. It is basically showing how many values that you have. You'll find a number that is bigger than 25% of the values, and I'll make thing like that here. Only 1 second, sorry. Um, I'll share my screen again with you guys. Okay. Stop share. Okay. So I hope that you can see my screen. For example, this is the graph that you have. Okay. So this is your 50th percentile. Okay. This is your 50th percentile. That means 50% of the values fall here and 50% here. This is your 25 percentile. That means 25% of values are here and less 75% are here. 75th percentile, you can just learn like this also. This is like very basic interpretation of what are percentiles. I'll highly suggest that you go through this because this is very important topic for the same. Uh, Min and max, I think you can understand that are your minimum and maximum values. For example, if you're sorting each column from lowest to highest value, the first smallest value is your min and the largest value is your max. Okay. If you go a quarter way through the list, that is your 1/4 way through the list, you'll find a number that is bigger than 25 percentile of the values, and that is smaller than 75 percentile of the value. That is your 25th percentile. 50 or 75 are described in the same way. Okay. So I'll stop sharing and let's start with the first coding exercise that we have. I'll share my screen again and I'll show you my Kaggle platform. Okay, before going ahead with the code, do you have any doubts, guys? Ashwarya, 25th percentile is basically saying that you are basically, you can say, categorizing the data into like that this kind of data is basically below 25% that you have. I'll send you an image so that you can understand what I'm trying to say. I'm sending you guys an image in the chat section. If you can just open this and see if you're able to understand what I'm trying to say. Here we have a graph, and in this you can see that they have showed that there's a line of 20th percentile. That means that 20% of the data is in the left of that line, and rest 80% of the data is in the right of that line. Okay, so in the similar way, 25 percentile means 25% of the data is in the left of that line and 75% of the data is in the right of that line. I'm not sharing my screen. 1 second. I'll share if you want. I'll open the link for you guys. This is what I have sent. I hope that you can see my screen now. So can see that 20% of the data is in the left side of the line and 80% of the data is in the right side of the line. That is the 20th percentile. If you similarly go to 25th percentile, that means 25% of the data is in the left side of the line and 75% is in the right side of the line. So that is why I told you, if you understand one of these terms, you will be able to understand 50th percentile and 75th percentile. Okay, are we clear with this? Yes, okay. Any other doubt before we go ahead with the coding? I'll repeat, Chandan. So if you can see my screen, there we have a line of 20th percentile that you can see in the dark black line. So the 20% of the data is in the left side of that line, and the other 80% of the data, because there's 100% of data if you are like uh, going to the data, 100% of the data, in that 20% of the data is in the left hand side of that line, 80% of the data is in the right hand side of that line. Clear, guys? I'll send you the link that I use for this. This is the link that has the photo. So you can go through the link, you can save it for later. And when you have time, please go through it. Okay. Coming to our basic data exploration tab. So we have covered this data description, and we'll click on this blue link again, that is getting started with your first coding exercise. So I have already done this, so maybe you'll see the answers. And second, let it open. Okay. So the first block that you might have here is this block that is set up your code checking. So this cell, you don't have to do anything. You just have to run this cell. For running this cell, you have to click here. You'll get the play button and just run this. Okay. Now this is like processing. It is giving you that blue circle that is processing. You can just click on it, and if it's done, it will just print that the setup is complete. Okay, you can see here that the setup complete is there. That means that this block of code ran without any issue. So we'll be doing the practical here in this notebook. As is everyone being is everyone able to understand the workflow of Kaggle, how Kaggle works?
Muskan, you're sharing it so well. You're teaching the steps such nicely that even if somebody pays attention, has joined right time, even a fifth grader can easily follow your wonderful teaching.
Thank you so much, Arun. Okay, so I guess we don't have any doubts. We are done with the setup. So now coming to loading the data. So I have already done this part. I already have the certificate, so you might get the answers while I'm trying to teach. But at the same time, I'll try my best to make you understand. So what they have done here is they have imported pandas as PD, that I told you how it is done. Then they have given you the path of file and they have stored it in this variable, that is IOWA file path. And this thing in single quotes is the path of your file. Okay. And all you need to do here is you need to get this file in home data and you have to read it using read CSV. So what you will be doing here is, if you have a CSV file, you can see is that the extension that we have is .csv. Okay, so we have a variable here and we are using it pd.readcsv to read the path of the file. The path of the file, if you see here, is this. If you just highlight this, it will show you that it is written above IOWA file path. You are just writing it here and just click on step 1.check. It will check whether you have loaded the answer correctly or not. So, yeah, path. 1 second. Yeah, so it's correct. Okay. So if you just check it, if it shows correct, that means that the first step is already done. Are we done with loading the data? Step 1. If you have any doubt, just say doubt, just write it in the chat section. I'll make sure that I clear it. Okay. So we are done with this, I guess. Yes. Once more. Okay, definitely. So we are reading the file that we have, that is the CSV file. So we are reading the data. If you can see here is you have the input data. In the right hand side, you have this data, that is your input data. What we are trying to do here is we are trying to read this data, that is your train.csv data. They have already added this path in a variable, that is IOWA file path. And we are reading the CSV file. So we have to write the path if we don't have the variable. But if you have the variable, you will just write the variable name here, that is IOWA file path, and just press play here. It will check if the answer is correct or not. You don't need to use this step 1.hint or step 1.solution. If you do that, it will show you what is the solution. So if you can see, the solution here is pd.readcsv IOWA file path. It's up to you if you need to check if your solution is correct or not. They'll show you the solution if you just use this. But in my case, I don't think so that you will need it because we have already done it correctly. Okay, this is your step 1, that is loading your data. Then we are coming to the step 2, that is reviewing the data. So we did go through describe. Okay. I think Chandan, you are able to get it. Okay. So coming to step 2, that is reviewing the data. Reviewing the data is basically finding the measures of mean, standard deviation, count, and everything. So if you want to review the data, you have to first use this, and then you have to use dot describe. It will give you summary statistics if you just print it out. So you can see the thing that we saw in the previous link, that was count, mean, standard deviation. We are getting that here as well. Okay, so you can see the what is the count. There are approx 1,460 rows, and the mean is 730. Then we have lot area that has the mean of around 10,500. So we can see what is the average year in which it was filled, that is 1971. You can see different kind of things here. Okay. So for describing the summary statistics, what you need to use here is dot describe. Okay. Now, by seeing this data, please don't see the answers that are there already. By seeing this data, you have to answer these two questions. What is the average lot size rounded to nearest integer? You have to find the average lot size and you have to round it to the nearest integer. Just try running it and find if the answer that you have is correct or not. Okay. If you get the answer that is correct, then please type done already. If you're not getting the correct answer, please type NC in the chat section so that I can help you.
Aishwarya has a question: how to get summary statistics for categorical features?
So for people who don't know what is categorical features, for example, categorical features are basically categorical variable that you have. So for summary statistics, if you have some categorical data, the basic statistics that are available for them are count and percentage. And like I'll just give you an example. Uh, okay, for I'll share a link with you, Ashwarya. Please remind me. For categorical data, we don't have like you can say we cannot find the mean, but we do have a thing called as mode. Mode is like the, for example, if you have a number of things, or you can say categories, the mode is the category with the largest number or the highest number of cases. And in categorical data also, you have ordinal data and nominal data. If you understand that, so for ordinal data, the median, the value at which half of the cases are half of the cases are in the left and half of the cases are in the right, that we have for ordinal data. Okay, if we have a lot of number of categories. Guys, if you're not able to understand, it's fine. I'm trying to help with help question that Ashwarya has. I hope that you are able to understand, Ashwarya. I'll send you a link if you can. Just 1 second. So you need to understand what is mode and what is your ordinal data and nominal data for understanding this. Yes.
Aishwarya says yes.
Okay, guys, are we able to get the correct answer? In the meanwhile, if you are, can you just type yes? If you have any doubt, can you type not correct or NC?
Muskan, it's amazing that you're able to see the chat box while you're teaching. Many people are able to focus on one thing or the other. So it's Kudos to you.
Thank you.
So looks like we have a yes from most people. Any NCs? So Muskan, while we still have a minute where they are finishing this up, um, how there are all kind of people who join us. They could be BA, BCom, BSc. They could be BTechs, Bs of different streams. Um, Suppose somebody wants to move from a career from data analysis to data science, for example, and they've just started there. They are just at the beginner level. How difficult is it to learn something um, like I know SQL, I know Excel, and I know Power BI or Tableau. Now I'm taking the first step to learn machine language. In your opinion, I mean, I know you have a you know engineering background, and you're working for one of the best companies. But how is it for like an average, BCom guy or a BSc or a BCA or those kind of people to learn Python? How much time does it take? So give me just an overview, like what's your feel on the subject, because you have taught many people in the past.
Yes, definitely. So my role in Microsoft is of software developer as well. So
Right.
I don't have a lot of things that is related to data scientist. So one thing that I want to tell you guys, it sometimes get people demotivated who are just stepping into data science career. A lot of companies hire for experienced people because the data that you have will be like a lot of data that is confidential to the company. So they generally look for people who have some sort of experience. So if you are working somewhere, try doing stuff that is related to data science there, try doing some analysis, try writing some code that can help with the like with help some basic data exploration. It's up to you. But if you want to go ahead with ML, if you want to learn ML, then I can suggest few courses that I personally did and that I recommend to people that are trying to step into ML. But I'll just give you a small warning. I can say that the fresher roles for data scientists isn't that much as compared to the experienced one. If somebody is there from the data science background, they can help you with this. They can help you to check this, but it's kind of a fact. So I'm not demotivating you guys. The thing that you can do here, if you are trying to get a job as a fresher, you can try to do as many internships as possible, because in internships they'll be providing you with the actual data of the company. So getting an intern and doing some interns will help you and will try to minimize the gap that you
Muskan,
have.
let me rephrase the question in a more simpler way. So let's say I've done basics. I'm a BCom graduate, and I've learned all the data analysis tools like SQL, Power BI, Excel, and so on. Now I'm trying to now I've started to work, let's say at Barclays or Genpact, and I have maybe a 1 year work experience also. I've done couple internships. Now slowly, gradually, I'm not saying immediately, slowly, gradually, I want to move into data science as well. So now for such a person, in general, again I'm saying in general, because there can be, everybody has their own way of learning and everybody takes their own time, but in general, for an average person, how much time does a person require to understand or master basics of machine language?
Okay, so I'll give you a small roadmap that I can say. Then the first thing that I suggest is learning about statistics. Like you have to understand the probability, the percentiles that we did, everything related to that. Then if you are like familiar with Python, but you don't know like very deep, you don't have to dive very deep into Python. but you need to know about Python. If you don't know about Python, know about R, it's fine. But Python is more trending in the market. Then you have to get used to the libraries such as Matplotlib and Pandas and NumPy, and then you have to go through that. Then coming to, you can say that you can start with few courses. There's a great course by Andrew Ng on Coursera that I think a lot of people who are into data science have already completed it, because it's like starting with that, because it is like basically giving you an introduction in a very simpler manner, and that is what you can try if you are starting. But a lot of people miss that step of statistics, I will say. That is something that people need to go through if you need to be a great data scientist or machine learning engineer. It's totally up to you, and that is very necessary.
Yeah, thank you, Muskan. This was very, very helpful for people, because there are a lot of, even there are, BSc statistics and MSc statistics people that have come to us during my calls in the Ask Arun session. They've asked, we have done statistics. Is it going to be beneficial for us once we try to learn data science? And my answer has been yes most of the times, but I will use this clip as well to help them to reiterate the same message. But thank you so much.
You're
So
welcome.
let's
Yeah.
move on with the remainder session.
Okay, so 1 second, I'll just share the link of end-to-end that I was saying that you guys can refer if you are trying to step in. Yes. So this is the link that you can refer. Now coming back to this, so we have the answers here. So how old is the newest home is basically you have to do one thing, that is whatever the current year is, that is 2023, you have to subtract the date in which it was built. That will be your max year, because max year will be the highest year that you have. For example, 2010. So 2023 minus 2010 will give you 13. And then you can just go on check and see if your answer is correct or not. I don't know if people have used hint or solution, but you can check it if you want hint or solution. So this is how you are done with the first part already. Now click on the blue link again. That will be your first machine learning model. And I'll explain you the theory once again before we are starting. Okay. So now we'll be selecting data that we'll be using for modeling. So we'll be selecting our features here. In this tutorial, we'll be understanding what are features and how you can use them. So this is something that we have already done. If you want to print out the columns that you have, you just have to use dot columns. You can try this with your data set that you had in your practical. It will just print out all the columns that you have in your data. Now, for example, if you have some missing values, you can say null values, then you can use dot drop NA. We have to learn how to handle missing values, and like the data that we have in IOWA data, it does not have any missing values. But if you have it, we'll be using a very simple step for now. You can see it here, that is drop NA. And drop NA means drop missing value. Think of NA is not available. So drop NA, you can just understand it as drop not available values, and then you are specifying the Excel that you have. Okay. Now coming to the important part of this tutorial, you have to understand what are your features and what are your, you can say, what is the target that you are trying to get in. So the single column that I already told you is stored in a series. That is your one-dimensional array, which is broadly like a data frame with only a single column of data. We'll use a dot notation to select the column we want to predict. We want to predict the price of the house. We need to understand what we are trying to predict. So here we are trying to predict the price of the house which is also called as the prediction target. So if you are trying to get the price of the house, generally in this ML, the convention is to describe it with the help of a small y. Then we have the data here, that is your Melbourne data. Then you are writing dot and the price, that is your target variable. Okay. So we are getting that, we are saving that in y. Then you have to use the features. The features are that columns that are input in our model that we are trying to make. And that will be used to make our predictions. So what are we trying to get? We are using, I'll just show you here. We are using rooms, the number of rooms that we have, the number of bathrooms that we have, the land size that we have, latitude and longitude. That is for describing in which part of the city is your house falling in. We are using this as a features. Features, for example, I'll just show you one more thing. 1 second, I'll just open my OneNote and I'll try to help you with what are features. Coming back here. So what do you want to predict? You want to predict the price of the house. So what things do you need here? You need how many rooms that you have. You need how many bathrooms you have. You want to see what is the area of the house. You are using locality, that is basically finding your latitude and longitude to find the locality of the house in what area it is finding. These all things will contribute to finding the price of the house. For example, the house that is away from the center of the town will cost less as compared to the house that is in the main center. The area of the house, if it's less, that will affect the price. If it's more, that will increase the price. The number of bathrooms you have, that will affect again, and the number of rooms that you have will affect the price again. So this is your target that you are trying to achieve, and these are your features. Okay. So in this step of the tutorial, we are trying to define our features as well as target. Okay. So we have used Melbourne. I'll again stop sharing this and I'll share my screen with you guys. Yeah. So we have used Melbourne underscore features for defining the features that will help us to affect the price. So by convention, the data that we have that are features will be represented by capital X, and the target prediction variable that we have is uh, defined by small y. You need to remember this. Okay. So what we are doing is Melbourne underscore data, and we are putting this here. That is Melbourne features that we have already defined. Okay. Then you can use x dot describe, and that you can use for counting the number of rows and mean standard deviation minimum that we have already completed. And dot head will help you to get the top, like the 5 top most value that you have in your data. So I'll help you with that as well. So this is what we are going to use here. So first we'll start with the tutorial. Just go here in the start exercise option and start with me. Yeah. Okay. So I think you guys can see my screen. Yep. So this is the recap that we did already. You can just play again. And we have already completed this part. Wala thing and just play it. And now we are going to specify our prediction target. So what is our prediction target? Prediction target will be your sale price. First of all, we are checking the columns that we have. So I told you for checking the columns that you have in your home data, just do home data dot columns and it will print out the name of all the columns that you have. Okay, you can see that you have a lot of columns, but what we need as the target price is basically a sale price. Generally, the prediction target that you have is the last column. Generally, I'll say it is the last column, not always. So if you need to predict the price, that is your last column, that is your sale price. So this prediction target that you can say will be stored in small y, that is y is equals to home data dot sale price. I'll just write it. This is our prediction. This is our prediction target. Okay. So we are storing it in the sale price. So now, why are we using a prediction target? We are using a prediction target to check our answers. For example, जो हमारा model, whatever the model gives us our answer, we are going to check it against this. We are going to check it against sale price. For example, if our model has said that the sale price for this particular home should be $15,000, and our model has given the answer that $18,000. So we are basically going to check okay, that there's a gap of $3,000 and we are going to predict the accuracy that we have for the model. Okay, now coming to X, that is your features. Now we'll be using X to create a data frame that hold our features that we'll be using for predicting the sale price. Okay, so they have given you the list of features already that we'll be using. You will use just the following columns in the list, and you can try doing it. So again, you have to make a list for yourself, and I suggest that you guys do it yourself. If you cannot, I'll help you again. So what you need to do here is you need to make a variable, and that is already defined, I guess. And you have to just enter these names. You can see in these columns, you have these names: lot area, year built. You can see lot area, year built. We also have it here. One second. Mm, Year belt is there. Then we have first floor, second floor area. That is your first floor and second floor area. And we have full bath, bedroom above ground, total rooms above ground. You can see that you can just use this as the features. Can you just write a code to come add this as your features? If you don't know about it, you can always refer to the tutorial that we did last. You can just press back and it will show you the theory that we completed. I'll just open this. Yeah. Mm, yeah. So what you need to do here is you need to complete it like this only. You can refer to this, but try doing it in your own data that is different from this data. Once you are done, can you please type done in the chat section? Okay, Adila has done it. That means people are able to understand. Okay, so please add the features and write it in your capital X as your predictions. Oh, sorry, as your features, and then also do one thing, that is describe. X dot describe also. You guys can do it. Come on, guys. Please type yes if you are done or done. Do you guys have any doubt? Do you guys want me to share the answer, or are you still doing it? If you are trying it, you can write T so that I can wait. If you're not able to get it, you can just write no so that I'll share the answer with you guys. No. Okay. Anyone who is trying can please type T so that I can wait. Okay, Dipali has already done. Okay. Imran has also done. Anyone else? Okay, so I'll share my screen now. I'll show the answer now. Okay. A lot of people have done. That's great. Yep. So I'm running all the commands because I'm already done. Okay. So the features that you have to just write it in your feature names. And then for accessing this, you have to write home underscore data and feature names. So if any one of you has already done Python or understand what is a Python list, so if you are trying to access something in a list, you use you use the index number here in the square brackets. In the similar way, if you are trying to get the feature names, you will just write it in the square brackets and it will get you the home data. Okay. So the feature names that we have are these columns. I have just written the name of these columns. And then I have used feature names in the square bracket to understand this. Okay. If you want to check your data, if you want to check your answer, you can just click on this and it shows correct. That means your answer is correct. Now you have to review the data that is describing the data. So you can use x.describe. And if you want to print the top few lines, that is your top 5 lines, you can use x.head. So you can see we have 1460 as the count here for the lot area. And you have the mean here, standard deviation, minimum, 25th percentile, 50th percentile, 75th percentile, and max. Okay. Then you have this. This is your head, basically the output that you get for head. So you have the top 5 rows that you have. You can see the lot area for the first house that we have in our data is 8,450. It was built in 2003. First floor surface area is like 856. Second floor is 854. Full bath is 2 and bedroom that we have are 3. Okay. Total rooms that we have are 8 here. Okay. So this is how you can see the data that you have. Are we done with this? Can we move ahead to step 3? Can you please type yes if you are done? If you are done, can you please type yes? Good. Okay, so we are done here. So now comes the part that you all have been waiting for, that is creating your model. So for creating a decision tree, we are going to use sklearn, or you can say scikit-learn. So we have to use X and Y, that is our features, and target prediction, we can say, in Y. So you first want to import decision tree regressor. That will help you to build your decision tree. And we are importing it from scikit-learn.tree. This is something that even a lot of people that I know sometimes who want to like import some different kind of things, they generally go on Google and search how to import decision tree regressor, because this is something that like you'll I tend to forget. I don't know why, but it's totally normal. You don't have to remember the name of every model that you will be making. So for scikit-learn dot from scikit-learn.tree, you have to import the decision tree regressor. You are specifying the model that you have, and now we are trying to make the model. So coming to thing, one thing that you need to understand here is random state. I'll explain to you. So we are first defining what type of model we are making. We are making a decision tree. So we are using decision tree regressor. Now there's one term that I need to make you understand, that is what is dot fit and what is random state. So dot fit basically captures the patterns from the training data that will be your features. It helps to capture the patterns that you have here, and it will help to predict the answer. Okay, so we are first importing this decision tree regressor. Then we are specifying random state. You can write it as anything. If I write it as 2, it's fine. If I write it as 1, it's fine. So specifying a number for random state ensures you get the same result in each run. Okay, if you're specifying it as 20, you will get 20, but like it will be like you'll be getting the same answer again and again. So this is one thing that you need to understand. You have to specify a number here that is for random state, and whatever number you are using here, if you're running your model again and again and again, this, if you are using the random state as a specific number, it helps to ensure that you are getting the same results in each run. Okay. So now what I'll do is I'll just make a model, IOW model, that is your decision tree regressor. And I'm specifying that the random state should be 20. And I'm fitting the model with my features and the prediction target, that is your Y. You're fitting the model, that is basically you're saying ki, okay, my model, that is IOW model, go get some patterns from these features as well as this target prediction. Go find how these are related. Okay, saying go find the pattern here. Okay, and you can just run this and you will get correct. If you like, a lot of people will want to check the solution for this, you can just remove the hash value symbol, and you can see here is that they have used a very random state as one. That is totally fine. You can use it as anything. It's up to you. Okay. So the thing that you need to understand in this code is what is random state and what is dot fit doing. Okay. So dot fit is fitting the model that is. Are we able to understand this? Do we have any doubts? I'll write it here, and random state is something that will need a little reading. Okay. So if you guys do have time, please go through this. Any doubts in this piece of code? Okay. No. Now, what we'll do here is we'll try to make some predictions. To make predictions, all you need to use is dot predict. Okay. So now you have specified this is your name, model's name. Now you will use dot predict here. Predictions, you are just storing it in a variable predictions, IOWM model dot predict, and you are using X. Basically, you are saying ki whatever features that I have given you, features are these. Whatever features that I have given you, try to predict the sale price of these features. Okay. And then you are printing these predictions. So this, when you are printing this, this is basically giving you the predictions that the model has made. The house, price of the first house should be around 20,000. No, sorry, 2,85,000, and price of the second house should be around 1,81,500, and so on. These are the predictions that the model has made. Okay, and then you are checking the answer again. Okay, so now what I'll do is I just print y.head, and you can see uh, these are the sale price that we have already for the y what we stored here in y of this. So y has your sale price already. So I just printed out y.head. It gave you some answers. So you can just use it to see if your model has made great predictions or not. Okay. Are we clear with dot predict method? Are we clear with this dot predict, how it works? You can try ignoring this part for now. You can just ignore this y dot head part. I want you to understand till here how dot predict is working. Yes, yes, yes. Any doubts, anyone? Okay. Now going ahead to our fourth tutorial, that is your model validation. Okay. So when you are giving exam, you are writing the exam, then somebody is checking the answers. Somebody is checking the answers and seeing if the answers that you have written are correct or not. So what is model validation? Model validation is basically checking the answers that you have from your model. Okay. So we are going to predict, okay, how good our model is, how much errors do we have. So model validation is to measure the quality of your model, if it's good or not. Okay. So you'll want to evaluate every model that you're making so that when you are getting that model into business problems, is that working fine or not? So we'll be using MAE here, and MAE is your mean absolute error. Okay. So we are using MAE, and I'll help you with what MAE is. Okay. So the prediction error for each house. The error that we have will be actual price जो already house का था और जो हमने predict किया है, we are subtracting that. We'll get error. That will be error. For example, the actual price was 5,000 and we predicted 4,500. So the error will be 500. And they have also given an example. If a house costs this much and you predicted this much, then the error is like $50,000. Okay. जब हम MAE metric use करेंगे, that is your mean absolute error metric, we take the absolute value of each error. That means कि अगर आपने prediction ज़्यादा भी करा है, like for example, you have predicted that the house was of two, like you have instead of one, you can say that the house was of. I'll just give you my example. So somebody predicted that the model predicted that the house is of 5 lakh and you predicted that the house is of 6 lakh. तो अब यहाँ पे अगर आप error use करोगे तो error is equals to 5,000 minus 6,000. 5 lakh minus 6 lakh, that will be your minus 1 lakh. So we are going to use that minus 1 lakh को ना use करके we'll be using 1 lakh. We'll be using the absolute of that. Okay. So if you don't know what is absolute, it's a mathematical term. अगर आपके पास -2 है उसका 2 कर देता है, -5 है उसका 5 कर देता है, वो बेसिकली पॉजिटिव नंबर में कन्वर्ट कर देता है. ओके. देन व्हाट वी डू हियर इज, जब आप उसका एब्सोल्यूट निकाल लेते हो, वी टेक द एवरेज ऑफ दीज एब्सोल्यूट एरर्स. दिस इज अ मेजर ऑफ मॉडल क्वालिटी. ओके, फाइन. नाउ कमिंग टू okay. Now, yes. Now, I'll start with the coding and I'll explain as we go here. You can just scroll down to the bottom and click start exercise. Okay. First question. Are we clear with what is MAE, mean absolute error? You need to understand what is absolute here so that you can get the hang of this. कि absolute क्या है? उसके बाद जब आपका पास, आप अगर word के थ्रू चलें, absolute error, उसका आप मीन निकाल दो. मीन एब्सोल्यूट एरर, दैट इज द टर्म. ओके. नाउ we are going ahead with the app with the exercise, that is a fourth exercise, I guess. So we are first learning this. So this is the recap that you have already done. You have fit the model and you have made some predictions. Okay, you can just run this. Now we are going to split the data. So what is splitting the data? So for example, in real estate market, डोर कलर जो है, लाइक किसी का डोर कलर रेड है, किसी का ऑरेंज है, किसी का ग्रीन है, दैट इज एब्सोल्युटली अनरिलेटेड टू होम प्राइस. कोई भी डोर कलर हो, वी डोंट केयर कि उसका होम प्राइस कैसा है, बिकॉज इट्स अनरिलेटेड मेजर. ओके. However, in the sample of the data that you are using to build the model, all homes that have the green color ka door, they are getting a very expensive price. नॉट बिकॉज कि उसका ग्रीन कलर का डोर है, मे बी उनके रूम्स ज्यादा हो या उनका स्क्वायर एरिया ज्यादा हो, but they are getting very expensive price. The model stop is, what is the model stop? What the model stop is to find the patterns that predict the home price. So it will see that this is a pattern. वो green वाले door को भी एक pattern मान लेगा and will always predict high prices for home with green doors. Since the patterns was derived from the training data, that is your features that we had, and the model will appear accurate that we have in our training data. But when model say we are using that model for business purposes, we are selling that to a real estate का agent, the model will be very inaccurate क्योंकि वहाँ पे जो data जो आएगा, that is something that is unknown, that is something that you have not seen already. तो वहाँ पे भी what they will do is they say green door, इसका प्राइस मतलब ज्यादा होगा, वो चाहे काउंट भी ना करे how many rooms it has, how many bathrooms it has, how many like what is the area of the house. It will just see green door, that means highly expensive house. So that is why you need to split your data. Okay. Since models practical value from making predictions is basically trying on new data, we can measure performance on data that wasn't used to build the model. Basically, आप like teacher ने क्या किया? Teacher has given you a chapter, and after chapter they you have an option of revision. ठीक है? तो टीचर ने क्या किया? आपको पूरा चैप्टर पढ़ा दिया, and that revision वाला option she has given you as the exam. So that is what we are trying to do with our model. तो हम अपने मॉडल को we are trying to make it learn everything, and we are testing it on something that wasn't already shown to the model, the data that is new to the model. Okay, so that is why we are using train test split. Okay, so if you are using train test split, it will split your data into training data, that is the data जो model use करेगा to finding pattern, and the test data will be the data जिसपे model को we will be testing कि if the model is correct or not. Okay, so we are splitting the data. So for splitting the data, you need this from sklearn.model selection, import train test split. Then we are writing these values, that is train x, value of x, train y, value y. That is, this is your training data set, and this is your what do you call it, data that is not shown to the model already. Okay, that is your validation data. This is your training data, train x, validation x, that is your validation data. Val x पे हम टेस्ट करेंगे मॉडल को. ट्रेन x is basically practice for that model. ये क्वेश्चंस जो टीचर करवा चुकी है, और वैलिडेशन x are those questions जो टीचर ने नहीं करवाए हैं बट ये एग्जाम में है. Okay, if you understand it in that. So what you will be using for train test split, आप train test split को पहले आप import करोगे. Then you will be specifying कि आपके पास x है, y है, और random state आप 1 रख के आप डेटा को ट्रेनिंग डेटा और वैलिडेशन डेटा में स्प्लिट कर दो. We are saying कि x and y को split into training and validation data. तो ये मॉडल अपने आप स्प्लिट कर देगा डेटा को जो आपके पास है, एंड आपके पास अब 4 काइंड ऑफ डेटा होंगे, दैट इज योर ट्रेनिंग फीचर्स जो आपके पास हैं, और जो आपने प्रिडिक्ट करना है वो. ठीक है, दैट इज योर ट्रेन वाई. दिस इज योर वैलिडेशन एक्स, दैट इज योर क्वेश्चंस जो टीचर ने नहीं करवाए बट शी विल आस्क इन द एग्जाम, एंड वैलिडेशन वाई आर द आंसर्स ऑफ दैट क्वेश्चन जो टीचर ने नहीं करवाए बट विल बी आस्क्ड इन द एग्जाम. Are we clear with splitting the data? Teacher wala example was easy to understand. Yes, okay. Can we split the data? Okay. So we have पहले हमारे पास सिर्फ x and y था. Now we have train x, that is your training x, validation x, training y, and validation y. We'll take it as an example. ट्रेन एक्स इज बेसिकली द क्वेश्चंस जो मैम जो आपके टीचर ने द टीचर हैज मेड you do it in the class. Validation X are the questions that the teacher has not covered in the class but will be asked in the exam. Train Y is basically the answers of those questions that the teacher has completed in the class, and validation Y are the answers of those questions that the teacher has not covered in the class but will be asked in the exam. Okay, so basically, you're testing your model with the data that is new to it. That is the questions that the teacher has not asked in the class. We can measure the performance on data that we haven't used to build a model. तो अब आप train X और train Y use करोगे to build a model, and validation X and validation Y will be used for testing the model कि आपका model कितना अच्छे से काम कर रहा है. Okay? Are we clear, Dipali? Yes. Okay. So can we please just run this command and see if it's working for us? Now, अब जब जो आपने ऑलरेडी लास्ट टाइम किया था, आपने यहाँ पे क्या किया था, आपने यहाँ पे एक्स एंड वाई डाला था, बट नाउ आई हैव टोल्ड यू कि आप सिर्फ ट्रेनिंग डेटा ऑलरेडी मॉडल को शो करोगे, आप उसको टेस्ट डेटा शो नहीं करोगे, दैट इज योर वैलिडेशन डेटा, आप उसको शो नहीं करोगे. तो अब हम दोबारा फिट करेंगे मॉडल बट विथ ट्रेनिंग डेटा, दैट इज योर ट्रेन एक्स एंड ट्रेन वाई. ओके, अब आप जो आपके पास वैलिडेशन डेटा है दैट वी विल नॉट बी यूजिंग. अभी हमने बेसिकली क्या करा है, जो हमारे पास एक्स एंड वाई डेटा था उसको स्प्लिट कर दिया है इन ट्रेनिंग डेटा एंड वैलिडेशन डेटा. अब हम एक्स एंड वाई फिट ना करके वील फिट ट्रेन एक्स एंड ट्रेन वाई एंड वील जस्ट चेक इफ इट्स रनिंग करेक्टली और नॉट. We understand how this piece of code is working. We are fitting the model that we have with the training data. Okay, the data that is familiar to the model, उसके साथ हम उसको ट्रेन करेंगे. नाउ अब जिनको समझ नहीं है ऑलरेडी वो आप समझ पाएंगे. अब हम जो प्रेडिक्शंस करेंगे, जो हम टेस्ट कर रहे हैं अपने मॉडल को, we'll be making the predictions with the validation data, और जो हम कह सकते हैं टेस्ट डेटा, जो मॉडल ने ऑलरेडी वैल्यूज नहीं देखी हैं, we'll be making predictions with those data. Okay, we'll making predictions with validation data. Now what we are doing here is we are making a new variable val predictions and we are predicting with the val x. We are saying कि ये features हैं, ये रूम एरिया है, ये नंबर ऑफ रूम्स हैं, ये यहाँ पे ये दिस ईयर इट वाज बिल्ट इन. नाउ प्रिडिक्ट करो, बट ये वैल्यूज वो वाली वैल्यूज हैं जो मॉडल ने नहीं देखी हैं, जहाँ पे हमने सिर्फ उसको ट्रेनिंग डेटा से ट्रेन किया था, बट वी आर चेकिंग द मॉडल, वी आर मेकिंग प्रेडिक्शंस ऑन द यू कैन से वैलिडेशन डेटा, द क्वेश्चंस दैट द टीचर हैज नॉट कवर्ड, हम उस पर प्रिडिक्ट कर रहे हैं. बेसिकली देख रहे हैं अगर आपको कोई चीज समझ आती है क्लास में जो टीचर एक्सप्लेन कर रही है, then you should be able to solve the questions that are not covered in the book. Okay, so we are also making a model go through it. If you understand the pattern correctly, तो आपके predictions जो test data पे हैं या validation data पे हैं, that should be correct. Okay, so we are checking the data, we are predicting the data, and we are seeing it. Make the predictions. Okay. Now, are we done with this piece of code? Val predictions. Are we done with this? If we are done, can you please type yes so that we can move ahead? Okay, good. Yes. So now what we are doing here is we are checking the predictions that we had, but यहाँ पे print हो गई हैं. Now we are printing the top few validation predictions. Basically हम head use कर रहे हैं. हमने val x use किया था पहले, but अब हम यहाँ dot head use कर रहे हैं. That means हम 5 predictions देख रहे हैं ऊपर के. Top 5 predictions के लिए we are using that. So we are saying IOW model dot predict value x dot head. That means जो predictions हैं उनमें से top 5 like ऊपर की 5 prediction you just show it to me. ठीक है, तो उन्होंने ये prediction show करी हैं and then we are printing val underscore y dot head. That is the actual price. ये जो first line है, this is what the model has predicted and this is what we have this is the actual price that we have. Okay. मैं अभी सिर्फ इतना प्रिंट करके दिखा देती हूँ आपको. Just print this. Okay. So this is what the model has predicted. Model के हिसाब से first house का price around 2,31,000 होना चाहिए. Now I'll print what the actual price is. But the actual price here is also 2,31,500. Okay. And so the first row है, that is your predicted one. This is your predicted price. And these right here are the actual price. Okay. Got it? अब हम क्या कर रहे हैं? अब हम mean absolute error निकाल रहे हैं. That is what we understood in the last session. That is what is MAE. अब आप mean absolute error निकाल दो in validation data. That is your test data. अब आप इसको import करोगे from sklearn.matrix import mean absolute error. That is what I was trying to say. आपको हर चीज याद करने की जरूरत नहीं है. Specifically ये है कि आपको क्या import करना है. You just need to know how to Google how to import mean absolute error. It will give you the command that you will write here, and that is what you will be using. Okay. अब mean absolute error निकालने के लिए what you will be using here is you use mean absolute error and then you give the parameters here. That is your value y and that is your value predictions. Value y are the actual sale prices that were there in your test. Okay. Value y is basically the answer key of the questions that were asked in the exam. जो टीचर ने आंसर की बनाई है क्वेश्चंस की that were asked in the exam is value y and value predictions are the answers that you have given of the questions that you were asked in the exam. तो आपके पास अब दो पैरामीटर्स हैं, जो एक्चुअल आंसर है और जो आपने प्रिडिक्ट किया, ये यहाँ लिखा है. फिर आप उसको प्रिंट करोगे कि क्या आ रहा है आपका मीन एब्सोल्यूट एरर. तो यू कैन सी आपका जो मीन एब्सोल्यूट एरर आ रहा है वो अराउंड 29,000 आ रहा है. ओके, सो दिस इज योर मीन एब्सोल्यूट एरर. कितना डिफरेंस है फ्रॉम एक्चुअल प्राइस. Are we able to understand how to calculate the mean absolute error? The only thing that you need to understand here is कि value y और value predictions क्या है. Value y is basically the answer key of the questions that were asked in the exam, and value predictions are the answers that you answered. So basically mean absolute error आपके errors निकाल रहा है कि आपके answers में कितना difference था. Are we able to get this? Step 4. Can you please type yes if you understood how it's working? Yes. Okay, I got 2 yes, 3 yes, fine. Now we are going to study underfitting and overfitting. This is a thing that a lot of people don't understand, but iska I have made a very good example. Okay. कई बार ऐसा होता है, like we'll just take an example. We have 3 students here. ठीक है, अब हमारे पास एक स्टूडेंट ए है, स्टूडेंट बी है और स्टूडेंट सी है. ओके, तो अब हम क्या करते हैं, स्टूडेंट ए में क्या किया, स्टूडेंट ए पूरे लाइक दिल से बाय हार्टेड द होल ऑफ द टेक्स्ट बुक without giving any significant importance to the concept. उसने like basically रट्टा मार लिया, you can say like that, for the entire textbook. बट उसने कॉन्सेप्ट्स को इम्पोर्टेंस नहीं दी, इतनी कॉन्सेप्ट को समझने की कोशिश नहीं करी. उसने बस आंसर याद कर लिया कि अच्छा ये क्वेश्चन है तो उसका आंसर ये है, ये क्वेश्चन है तो उसका आंसर ये है. दिस इज योर स्टूडेंट ए. देन वी हैव स्टूडेंट बी. स्टूडेंट बी ने बहुत कोशिश करी अच्छे से सब कुछ ग्रास्प करने की, सारे कॉन्सेप्ट्स को बिहाइंड ईच चैप्टर ऑफ द बुक बहुत कोशिश करी उसने, वी कैन से दैट. जो भी कॉन्सेप्ट है सब पढ़ने। स्टूडेंट सी ने क्या किया, स्टूडेंट सी ने हाफ बुक पढ़ी, ठीक है, लर्न हाफ बुक फ्रॉम द बिगिनिंग, और बाकी जो अदर हाफ है उसने छोड़ दी, बट जो हाफ उसने पढ़ी है वो उसने बहुत अच्छे से पढ़ी है, मतलब उसे पूरा प्रॉपर जो हाफ पढ़ा है वो उसे पूरा ढंग से आता है, ठीक है। So we have three students, student A, student B, and student C. I'm not sharing my screen. Okay, I'll share my screen agar if you want. Oh, I'll not write anything here, but if you want, I'll write. Uh, we have student A, student B, student C. Student A ने you can say सब कुछ याद कर लिया basically without understanding concepts. उसने रट्टा मार लिया सब क्वेश्चन का कि अच्छा अगर ये क्वेश्चन है तो उसका आंसर ये होगा। स्टूडेंट बी ने क्या किया है, स्टूडेंट बी ने बहुत कोशिश करी है सब कुछ समझने की। स्टूडेंट बी ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड ऑल द कॉन्सेप्ट्स। स्टूडेंट सी ने क्या किया है, स्टूडेंट सी ने हाफ बुक करी है, हाफ बुक जो आपके पास टेक्स्ट बुक थी, बट जो उसने करी है दैट ही हैज डन कंप्लीटली, लाइक पूरा कॉन्सेप्ट उसको पता है उस हाफ बुक का, ठीक है। So we have three students here. For student A, my screen is now visible, I guess. Okay. Now for student A, most अब जो क्वेश्चन आया आपका, अगर आपके पास जो क्वेश्चन पेपर आया, if the most of the questions came directly from the textbooks as it is, तो student A will come first because उसने proper book को रट्टा मार लिया. If everything came from textbook, student A will come first. Okay. Now this is your overfitting model. Student A is your overfitting model. I'll explain you how. He is able to excel in the exam in which exact same questions were asked that were in the textbook. But अगर उसको दूसरे क्वेश्चन दे दिए, जैसे टीचर ने जो क्वेश्चंस बुक में नहीं कवर करे हैं एंड वो क्वेश्चंस आ गए, then his marks will be absolutely low as he failed to pass the exam in which the exact same of exact same question from the textbook will not come. He'll be failing that exam. अगर सेम क्वेश्चन आ जाते हैं then he'll pass. If the same questions don't come then he'll fail. This is your overfitting model. इसमें क्या है, इसमें आपकी ट्रेनिंग एक्यूरेसी जो है वो तो बहुत अच्छी है, ट्रेनिंग एक्यूरेसी इज हाई, बट अगर टेस्ट मॉडल आ जाता है, जो हमने क्वेश्चन जो वैलिडेशन एक्स किया था, दैट इज द क्वेश्चन दैट वर नॉट टॉट इन द क्लास, उसकी टेस्ट अच्छा नहीं है, टेस्टिंग एक्यूरेसी आपके पास अच्छी नहीं आएगी, दैट विल बी लो। अब आपके पास जो स्टूडेंट सी है ये आपका अंडर फिटिंग मॉडल है। आई एक्सप्लेन हाउ। ट्रेनिंग एक्यूरेसी इसके पास लो है क्योंकि इसने सब कुछ नहीं पढ़ा। ट्रेनिंग एक्यूरेसी इज वेरी लो एज ही हैज नॉट स्टडीड द होल सिलेबस। अब ये जो इम्पोर्टेंट पैटर्न्स हैं उसको सबको नहीं वो कर पाएगा कैप्चर, सो इट परफॉर्म्स पुअरली। जो ट्रेन अगर आपके पास सेम क्वेश्चन आते हैं जो बुक में थे उसमें पुअरली परफॉर्म करता है, ठीक है। बट अगर कुछ न्यू क्वेश्चन आ जाते हैं, कुछ न्यू आता है, आई से फ्यू न्यू क्वेश्चंस from the books that from half part of the book that he has learned, तब वहां पे उसकी accuracy अच्छी हो। So overfitting is basically when a model catches the training data almost perfectly but poorly performs in validation data. On the other side, if we make our like अगर आप आपके पास like underfitting की बात करते हैं, अगर स्टूडेंट आपका ट्रेनिंग पे अच्छा परफॉर्म नहीं कर पा रहा है, जो आपके पास ट्रेनिंग एक्यूरेसी है दैट इज वेरी लो, दैट विल बी योर अंडर फिटिंग डेटा। ओके, नाउ आई एक्सप्लेन यू विद व्हाट वाज शोन इन द Kaggle. Yeah, now we go to the theory. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So अब आप देख सकते हो we have underfitting and overfitting. ओके, सो अभी हम यहाँ से पढ़ते हैं. In practice, it's not uncommon for a tree to have 10 spits. That means कि spits जो हैं, J spits हैं, वो more than 10 हैं. As the tree gets deeper, the data set gets sliced up into leaves with fewer houses. If a tree only had one split, it divides the data into two groups. If each group is split again, we would get four groups. Okay? Splitting each of these again would create 8 groups. तो आप split करते रहते हो तो आपके पास बहुत सारे groups आ जाएंगे, बहुत सारे रूट तो एक ही आएगा, नोट बहुत सारे हो जाएंगे. ठीक है. When we divide the houses among many leaves, we also have fewer houses in each leaf. Leaves with very few houses will make predictions that are quite close to those homes' actual values, but they make very unreliable predictions for the new data. ठीक है. This phenomena is called overfitting. Basically, आप रट्टा मारो सब कुछ, but if something new comes up, you are not able to perform very good. Okay. Agar we are doing underfitting, and now we're talking about underfitting. At an extreme, if a tree divides houses into only 2 or 4 each groups, तब अब अगर आप divide बहुत कम group में कर रहे हो, then each group still has a wide variety of house. That means बहुत कुछ ऐसा है जैसे अभी आप सिर्फ इतना चेक कर रहे हो. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अगर आप लॉट साइज के बाद यू चेकिंग नंबर ऑफ बाथरूम्स यू हैव, नंबर ऑफ बाथरूम्स के बाद यू आर चेकिंग द लोकेलिटी. So that will make the tree shallower. फिर आप predict कर रहे हो. But now you are just checking कितने bedrooms हैं, and then you are checking the lot size. That means this is a very shallow tree. You are just making predictions based on two things. That is how many bedrooms you have and lot size कितना है. ठीक है? So this is your underfitting. When a model fails to capture important distinctions and patterns in data, it performs poorly even in the training data. That is called your underfitting. Okay. So what you need here is you need a sweet spot between underfitting and overfitting. Okay. So now ये आपके पास एक बार graph है, then you can see. Okay. So now you need to get a sweet spot between underfitting and overfitting that we'll be trying to do. Got it? So we'll start with this. आप एक बार ये पढ़ सकते हो अगर आपको देखना है. वो underfitting is basically failing to capture the patterns. आप patterns नहीं कर पा रहे हो. वो fitting capture कर लेता है वो patterns भी जो important नहीं होते हैं, and that is why it performs very badly in with the new data. We'll start with the exercise now. Are we clear with overfitting and underfitting? Thank you, Likita. Thank you, Arun. Thank you, Imran. We'll start with this now. Okay. So we have the recap as usual. You can just run this. Recap is basically what you have already completed. Now coming to exercise. So agar you are trying to get the mean absolute error, अब आपको क्या कर रहे हैं? We are trying to get the mean absolute error. For that, you need to understand how the functions work in Python and the for loop. Okay. अगर आपको ये नहीं आता है how the functions work in Python, this will be a little difficult for you because I think a lot of people here may know how to write functions and how to work with for loop because this is like basic of Python. Okay, so I'll try to explain it at the same time. So for writing any function, you will use def, that is define the function. Then you're writing the name of the function, that is get mean absolute error. फिर आप क्या कर रहे हो? अब हम बेसिकली कर क्या रहे हैं? हम लीफ नोड डिसाइड कर रहे हैं कि कितने लीफ नोड होने चाहिए जिससे हमारी एरर कम आए. तो हम हर लीफ नोड के लिए मीन एब्सोल्यूट एरर निकालेंगे. फॉर एग्जांपल, अगर 5 लीफ नोड है 5 के लिए निकालेंगे, 10 लीफ नोड है 10 के लिए निकालेंगे, 20 है 20 के लिए निकालेंगे. देन वी आर सेंडिंग ट्रेनिंग डेटा है एंड वैलिडेशन डेटा है. अब आप अपना मॉडल जो बना रहे हो यहाँ पे यू आर स्पेसिफाइंग हाउ मेनी लीफ नोड्स यू हैव. तो अभी वी आर जस्ट writing the function, define the function. We are using these as parameters. फिर आप स्पेसिफाई कर रहे हो कि इतने लीफ नोड्स हैं एंड रैंडम स्टेट दैट यू ऑलरेडी नो, रैंडम स्टेट आप कुछ भी नंबर डाल सकते हो। फिर आप मॉडल को फिट कर रहे हो विद ट्रेनिंग डेटा, फिर आप प्रिडिक्ट कर रहे हो विद द टेस्ट क्वेश्चन दैट यू हैव, दैट इज योर वैलिडेशन डेटा। फिर आप मीन एब्सोल्यूट एरर निकाल लो। मीन एब्सोल्यूट एरर आपने पहले भी निकाली थी, इसमें आप क्या डालोगे, द क्वेश्चंस, द आंसर्स दैट the that is the answer key that you have, the answer that the teacher has written, and what you have predicted comes here, that is spreads value. फिर आप रिटर्न कर रहे हो हर एक की MAE, आप हर लीफ नोड के हिसाब से कितने लीफ नोड है उसके हिसाब से मीन एब्सोल्यूट एरर को प्रिडिक्ट करोगे। ठीक है, दिस इज द फंक्शन दैट विल बी ट्राइंग टू राइट। आर वी एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड हाउ दिस फंक्शन वर्क्स? इस फंक्शन की वर्किंग में कोई इशू? इसमें आधी ज्यादा चीजें you have already done. You have already done the fitting, you have already done the predicting, you know how to make the mean absolute error. You just have to return mean absolute error for different number of nodes. Are we done? Any yes, good to proceed. Okay, so now we are comparing different tree sizes. We are writing a loop जिसमें हमारे पास different number of nodes हैं। एक ट्री जिसमें 5 नोड्स हैं, एक ट्री जिसमें 25 नोड्स हैं, एक ट्री जिसमें 50 नोड्स हैं, एक ट्री जिसमें 100 हैं, 250 एंड 500। सो वी आर स्पेसिफाइंग कि इतने नंबर ऑफ नोड्स हो सकते हैं। दिस इज द वैल्यू दैट आवर मैक्स लीफ नोड्स विल टेक। ओके, so what we are trying to do here is, these are your leaf nodes की values. I have made an empty list, that is L1, or then I have used a for loop. I am saying for max leaf nodes and candidate max leaf nodes. These are your candidates 5, 25, 50, 100, 250, 500. You are checking कि कौन सा will work better. Scores निकाल रहा है। Scores is equals to, आप function बुला रहे हो, that is your get MAE function, और उस फंक्शन में आप मैक्स लीफ नोड की वैल्यू पुट करो। पहले वैल्यू आएगी 5, फिर वैल्यू आएगी 25, फिर वैल्यू आएगी 50, फिर वैल्यू आएगी 100, फिर वैल्यू आएगी 250, फिर वैल्यू आएगी 500, एंड देन आप स्कोर्स को अपनी जो लिस्ट है उसमें अपेंड कर रहे हो, लिस्ट में अपेंड कर रहे हो स्कोर्स जो आपके पास आएंगे। ठीक है, आर वी एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड हाउ दिस पीस ऑफ कोड इज वर्किंग?
Absolutely, in Hindi and English both. Muskan, do you know any other languages? Of course, you know Punjabi, I guess.
Yeah, I'm Punjabi only, nothing else.
Has anybody ever asked you to explain something in Punjabi, maybe during your college or
No,
else?
no, not anyone. I am a beginner in Punjabi, can say. I understand what the other person is trying to say, but when I say it's very bad.
Yeah, Muskan, I hope your voice is still doing well, because I want to be. I know everybody's enthusiastic to go on with you, but I'm a little bit concerned about the health situation, because you um, just got better. So
Yeah, I'm
it's okay.
better. If
Yeah,
I'll
whenever
need
you
a minute, I'll let you know.
sure.
Okay. So we are done with this. We have already made a list. This list L1 has the scores. Scores basically आपकी mean absolute error जो भी आई है for different nodes. This list will have all the scores that you get. 5 के लिए क्या score है, 25 के लिए क्या score है, 50 के लिए क्या score है. Okay. So now we are getting the index. We are using L1.index minimum of L1. What we are trying to do here is, जो L1 जहाँ पे L1 minimum आता है, wait, I'll show you how it's working. अभी मैं आपको सिर्फ L1 दिखा रही हूँ कि L1 में आपके पास scores आ रहा है. Okay, I didn't run this one. Yeah. So L1 में you have these scores. एक first अगर हम use करें जिसमें 5 nodes हैं, we have the score of 35,000. जिसमें nodes 25 हैं, we have the score of 29,000. जिसमें nodes 50 हैं, we have the score of 27,000. जिसमें nodes 100 हैं, we have the score of 27,282. So आप देख के ही पता कर सकते हो कि 100 वाला जिसमें nodes हैं, उसमें 100 nodes हैं, that gives you the least amount of error. We can see. उसके बाद एरर दोबारा इंक्रीज हो रही है. सो दैट मीन्स कि दिस शुड बी योर आंसर. but we are going to predict the answer without looking here. मतलब हम list को print ना करके we are going to try looking for the answer. अब हम क्या कर रहे हैं? We are finding the index. तो index को find करने के लिए I have done one thing. हम पहले define कर रहे हैं कि minimum of L1 कहाँ है. The minimum of L1 will come here, this way, and we are going to find the index of this value. We are saying ki L1 dot index, that means find the index of the value, find the index where the value is 27282, and that will be stored in the index variable. Okay. Then the best tree size that you have will be your candidate max leaf node में आप उस index की value को you will refer. You say कि अगर index अगर हम यहाँ देखें 0, 1, 2, 3, this is the third index. You will just go ahead and say 0, 1, 2, 3. So you'll say 100 is the one that has the least amount of MAE. So I'll just print it out and check. Yes, that's the correct one. So best tree size will be your 100. Okay, that means यहाँ पे underfitting भी कम है and overfitting भी कम है. You have a sweet spot between underfitting and overfitting. We got this. This is your answer. That is 100. Thank you, Mayank. Are we able to understand this particular block of code? How we are finding the perfect candidate for the number of max leaf nodes? Okay. I hope that we are able to find it. Yes. So now what we are saying here is, अब हम अपने जो मॉडल को है we are just specifying कि आप जो maximum leaf nodes हैं वो आप 100 लो. Best tree size has the value of this 100. ठीक है. So we are saying कि आप 100 as your max leaf nodes लो और random state 1 रखो, and then you are fitting your model again. That's it. That's what we are trying to do. We are fitting the model using all the data. Okay. We are done. So this is how it works. अगर आप ऊपर, if you are trying to read this, you'll understand हमने training data और validation data क्यों नहीं यहाँ पे लिया है. You know the best tree size now, जहाँ पे mean absolute error कम आएगी. If you are going to deploy this model in practice, you would make it even more accurate by using all of the data and keeping that tree size. All you need here is the best tree size that will give you the least error. That is, you don't need to hold out the validation data now that you have made all the modeling decisions. तो आपके पास the best tree size आपके पास आ गया है. Now you don't need to go and say कि यहाँ पे आप सिर्फ validation data डालो, train X and train Y डालने की जरूरत नहीं है. You can use all the data now. Okay, and then you can just print it out and check. So we have the answer now. Okay, so we are left with two more things, 6th and 7th. So if you, I'll just go here, you can see 7th is not that much, 6th one is left. So we are going to start with random forest, and 7th is the end. 7th mein you don't have to code anything. Okay. Are we clear with 5th till 5th session? Are we clear with what we have done till now? Guys, any doubts? Type yes or no. If you don't have any doubt, type no. If you have doubts, type yes. I'll help you. No doubts. Okay, good. So we are going ahead with random forest. Now, what is random forest? अभी हमने we studied about a tree. A forest में what we have multiple trees. So this is the same way in which random forest works. Random forest uses many decision trees that you have, and it makes a prediction by averaging the predictions of each tree that you have. Okay. So हर tree से एक prediction आएगा, and you are trying to find the average of that prediction, and accordingly you will give the answer. It generally has much better prediction accuracy than a single decision tree, and it works very well with default parameters. So random forest में आपके पास बहुत सारे trees आएंगे, and we are getting the answer by averaging the answer from each of these trees. Okay. So this is very simple, very easy to use. In very similar way of decision tree, कुछ ज़्यादा change करने की जरूरत नहीं है. Instead of just calling decision tree regressor, we are calling random forest regressor. Okay? आप random forest regressor को use करोगे and वहाँ पे आप random state define करोगे. तो model को you will be fitting and you will be predicting the value. That is it. कुछ change नहीं करना है. You are just changing the name of the model now. Okay? So we'll be going ahead with the exercise. I'll explain you as we go ahead and complete this. But decision tree and random forest, if somebody asks you what's the difference, you all just need to remember forest में one tree नहीं होता, it has multiple trees. So we are taking answer from every tree and averaging that answer. Decision tree is basically one tree. Random forest is basically using multiple decision trees. So you will get a better accuracy. Okay. So coming to random forest now, this is your recap. You can just print it. Now, for using random forest, you need to use this command from sklearn.ensemble import random forest regressor. Then you are specifying the model. The name of the model here is RF model. We are saying random forest regressor. यहाँ से जो आपने import करा आप उसी को ही use कर रहे हो. And you are specifying random state as 1. Then you are fitting the data with training data and you're fitting the data with your training data, train X and train Y, and you are making the predictions on your validation data. Okay. Then you are finding the mean absolute error, that is the correct answers versus the answers that you predicted. And then you are getting the MAE. MAE is basically आपके पास जो mean absolute error आएगा for random forest. You are just printing it using dot format. Basically यहाँ पे जो value आ जाएगी, this will be your value. RF value MAE यहाँ पे आ जाएगी. ठीक है? Brackets में. And you are checking the answer. So अब आपके पास जो validation MEE आया है वो आया है 21,857. That is very low as compared to your decision tree. Decision tree में जो हमने last MAE check किया था, it was around 29,000 I guess. So it is, इसमें mean absolute error is low as compared to your decision tree. You are checking the solution now if the solution is correct. So this is how you made a random forest regressor. Simply, अगर आपको decision tree आता है, you can easily understand how random forest is working. At the same time, I'll give you a tutorial that you can refer after we are done. If you are going to work into ML, then you can refer to this tutorial. Sorry, I'll send the link again. Yeah, this is the one, last one. So it will give you a basic of what is random forest and how it's working. It also has some data with it, how it is working. अगर आपको ये समझ नहीं आया, it's kind of थोड़ा you can say थोड़ा advanced, but you can always get a simpler, super simple explanation. I'll send you one more example. This is how you can learn about random forest. So the second link is a very simple one, okay? And you can use this to understand how this is working. So whenever you will open any link that I'll send you, you'll have some mathematical concepts. So that is why I told you that statistics is necessary to understand ML. Okay. Are we done with this? How to use random forest? Any doubts here? Okay, so we are done. Okay, so now we can go ahead with the next one. That is your machine learning competition. It has nothing more, but it is was basically saying that if you want to enter the world of machine learning, you need to go through some competitions that we have in Kaggle, so you can see your progress, how you are doing as compared to your peers who are giving you like competition. So it's basically saying if you want to practice, you can go here and you can create a submission. And when you will create a submission, you are basically entering the competition. Okay. So this is the thing that we have. I'll just run it all. If you just enter this competition, you will be done with this. And once you're done with intro to machine learning and you're still like very much interested in to get into machine learning, I suggest you to get into the intermediate machine learning path. Okay. Guys, can any one of you share your screen? I don't know if you guys have this completed or not. I wanted to just see this particular exercise for machine learning competition. Anyone willing to share the screen?
Okay, I'll share.
Yeah.
I have started the sharing. Please confirm once it is visible to you.
Yes, I can see the screen.
Yeah, I'm on this stage, right?
Can you just run all of this by clicking on run all?
Run all this, right?
Yeah, this one. Likita, code basics and Krishna are the ones that I suggest. Arun has written that. It's a great channel, especially code basics. That is one of the many that I love. I suggest his videos a lot, and he's very kind and open in his DMs. If you want to chat with him uh, on LinkedIn, he is very open. Okay, Imran, can you just scroll down a little?
Sure.
Yeah. So you need to improve the accuracy of the data. Okay. You third and fourth block I'll explain. Can you scroll down more?
Okay.
Third, fourth, okay, fifth. Okay. Okay. And sixth. Yes. Sixth and okay. I'll explain this, and after this we'll be done. So first, second, and this block must have been done. Now, second.
Don, you'll have to go on mute, or we'll have somebody else that can present it.
No, it's fine. You can just stop sharing. I'll share it now.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all.
So we'll start with the exercise now. The last exercise, it's basically a revision of what we have learned till now. So if you go here, the first section will be your recap one. You can just play it. Yes, you can just play this thing. First one. The second one also is the one that is done for you. Now we are training the model for the competition. We are entering a competition here. The code cell above trains a random forest model on train X and train Y. You can see that we have trained a model on train X and train Y. Now you use the code cell below to build a random forest model and train it all on of X and Y. So we are saying that you have to build a model on full X and Y. So we are just specifying random forest regressor. We are specifying the random set as 1. And we are fitting the model on whole of X and Y. This is your third block. I hope that you are able to understand कौन सा code हम कैसे लिख रहे हैं आप. Okay. So first you are specifying the model and उसका random state. Then you are fitting the model on whole of X and Y. And if you run it, you can see that you have this as model. Okay. Now the model is ready. Now read the file of test data and apply your model to make predictions. You have this test data already. अब आपको .read csv use करके you have to just specify the variable path, that is your test data path here. If I just click here, you can see this is the path that we are referring, test data path, and we are reading it. We already have features defined. You can see here features. These are your features. This is the line that you have for features. And आप उसी features को use कर रहे हो. That is for your test data, and you are making predictions on test X. That is when you have the features ready with you, you have to make the predictions. These are the predictions that the model is making. Clear till now? Yes, okay. Now coming here, we are submitting this predictions. So these are the predictions that the model made. Okay. Now we are checking if a solution is correct or not. This is the correct one, and the solution is this. If you found any like kind of problem with your solution, you can check if it's. Then we are generating a submission. This is your 6th block, and this must be already done with you. So you just need to run this one. This must be already written for you. Don't need to write anything here. And you need to now submit it to the competition. Okay. You can just submit it to the competition and you will get your answer. I hope after this is done, you will get your certificate now. It will show great work and you have finished the course. Return to the course page to get your certificate. I'll just go to the course page here. And you'll get a certificate. Yeah, I'll have the option of view certificate. Yes, so this is the certificate that you have. You can download it. You can share it to LinkedIn. It's up to you. So people on the call, a lot of people actually left the call. It's fine. People on the call, are we able to get this certificate? Say yes if you're able to. Okay, Likita got it.
Wow, in today's course, we were able to secure a certificate. That's wonderful. Mayank, wow, cool.
Mayank, Imran, great. Everyone else, if you're not able to understand till now, it's fine. But try earning your certificate yourself by understanding the theoretical concepts. Any doubts in the session?
Muskan, I see that you yourself did research in March, probably just to help the students learn better.
Yes,
This is
yes.
amazing. How do you so after you finished, I mean, I'll ask you a general question. After you finished your you did your engineering and you were, let's say you did X, Y, and Z stuff from different places, and now you're ready to learn machine learning, Python. Did you, I mean, like any other any graduate, even if you are from computer science, they'll be afraid of, oh my god, it's a lot of, it's just probably coding, it's probably this, they have all the fears about it. Are there any basically I'm looking for, just like an average guy, looking for words of motivation from you if I'm trying to study for the first time.
Okay, so I'll say that especially in tech industry, you need to keep upskilling yourself because every day something new is dropping. And if you are not going to upskill yourself, then like the tech stack that people will be working on in the future generation, you'll not be able to understand that.
I think same happens with pretty much any industry though, because I've people, so many people coming up and telling me in Asker and conversations, do we have to keep upskilling? And I'm like, okay, if you were not an engineer or not a commerce graduate, Or I mean, if you look at a doctor, for example, what if he does not, if he keeps on following old methods of 1925 and 1910, how will he make you survive? How will he deal with the coronavirus? How will he deal with the, latest procedures and techniques? So whether it is a doctor or a, you know, finance specialist or supply chain or pretty much, I mean, pretty much every industry, you have to keep upskilling on something or the other. That's called life. Even if you are not a professional at all, I mean, you still have to. Even if you're a house husband or a housewife, what do you do? I mean, you'll have to keep upskilling your. You can't just sit and keep upskilling yourself on TV programs. You have to upskill yourself in cooking and cleaning and all the managing the house, managing the kids. So life is all about upskilling. Uh, you cannot say, okay, I'm like, even I can't say I'm 50 years old now, and I can't say, oh, I'm done. I've whatever I need to learn, I've learned years back, and I can,
Mhm.
unless I feel like a student still, um, I won't progress. So
Yes,
that's one word about upskilling, though.
yes, you completely need to get a hang of what's going on in the industry right now. I I wish that a lot of people go ahead and follow the passion that they have. If, even if you're working in something else, try learning what you really want to do with your life. And one way or the other, you'll make it to it. Like if you don't learn it, then how you'll just uh, change your position, how you'll just go to a different path. For example, if there's someone who is into data analyst right now and he wants to become a software developer, a data scientist, then along with your job, you have to keep on doing things. You have to keep on upskilling yourself. You have to work on things that you love. Okay. So that is very necessary for that.
Hey, Muskan, the other question I'll ask you is, and this has nothing to do with ML. Do you have a? We would love to see more of Muskan's YouTube channel.
I
Do you?
don't have it right now, but I am
Yeah,
working.
we need to have one with shorts. I have seen one YouTube video which sometime back which you uploaded on just after your journey into the current company you are, and I'm not naming the company, but there was quite a inspiration for uh, like-minded people. So I would strongly encourage you, given the talent you have, given how easy you make up things in Hindi, English, the examples you give, you inspire people to. It's the very practicality of teaching. So you have certain very good traits, and I would, like Imran Sheikh or other people here, please consider that it'll be beneficial for many people. And you can quote me after 5 years of having created maybe 300 videos. You can say, um, this COE made you do it.
Yes, yes, definitely. I'll keep that in mind. Right now, like I am focusing on learning at the same
I
time,
know.
like in
Mm,
this month only, I'm thinking of starting something new. And if
yes.
anything comes up in my mind, I'll definitely let you know.
Yeah. And all right, guys, I think we almost wrapping up now. If there is anything, take a deep breath and, like, a vast couple generic questions on your behalf. If there is anything that one or two questions that you want her to take up, because it's been almost 2 hours she's been talking, and I we need to wrap up the session. Although we would love to have her as much as she can give us, but uh, we need to be considerate. And when she's so with her connection, don't, please, one of the things that one in general one should not do is like keep sending. I mean, you can send in LinkedIn invites and I am her and so on and so forth, but please do not do please do not do it daily, like few times a day. um, Give her a breathing space, give her some time. um, all right. So again, does anybody have any generic one or two questions that you would like to ask before we wind up? All right, I have one exercise. I have one big exercise for most of it. So some people said that the power got cut off and they are beating me up. Could you please share the notes from this session? I will consider that. I might send out um, some notes or video or something later on. But I would like you to do one exercise for me. If you would like that, please join both of your hands and let's have a big applause for Muskan Handa. You can even unmute yourself so that we can hear you loud. I can see a lot of people on the screen clapping. Fantastic, fantastic. That's
Thank
the,
you so much.
the
Thank you so
spirit.
much.
But Muskan, seriously, I mean, you. I wish I was in wherever you are, Hyderabad, Bengaluru, wherever your hometown, and I was able to, um, have your YouTube channel up and running. You have a calling for that.
Thank
Um,
you. Arun, I'll definitely look into it.
all right. Thank you guys. You've been a wonderful audience. Likhita, it's about yeah, Likhita. I think you're in the same. You're in the same time zone as I. It is about 1:52 a.m. in Texas as well. Uh, so, but thank you everyone for being a wonderful, wonderful audience. Thank you for your patience. I know there are sometimes certain things. For some of you were able to do the certificate pretty fast. For some of you, it'll take a little more time, but I think all of you should be able to get the certificate that maybe a lot of the other classmates got. Yes, thank you, Abhishek. Thank you, Imran, Muskan, Mayur, Nirmal, Nikhil, Dipali, Abhishek, Pragati, Suyash, Gauri Shankar, Simar Huda, Kavita Kurup, Sakshi Singh. I may not have you said all the names. Sonam Pandey, Yogesh Bhosle, Suresh Upadhyay. Thank you all. Yeah, please do.
Please
Yeah,
tag me. I'll like and comment on your post, guys.
absolutely. I would love that. Yeah, please tag her because absolutely. Yeah. Uh, all right, guys. Bye bye. See you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.